Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. Joining me right next to me, Becky Brown, clinician,
Hello.
Therapist extraordinaire, and working, I think you've done everything in our organization, but
I'm willing to do it.
You're right here today with me. And, Becky, you and me, you know this, other people may not, but the last two in-person intimacy and marriages, you and I did a group together. I lectured, and then we co-facilitated a group. Quite an experience.
It was so much fun.
And very draining to do this, do some speaking
and work, yes,
and
lots
that.
of work.
But I'm telling you, folks, I got to see inside what these therapists have been telling us about. I got to watch people, they were in such bad shape. The folks doing a documentary on it thought the couples that had been chosen, biggest mistake ever.
Right.
This is not gonna go well.
Right.
And every one of them had a breakthrough. And look, here we are. It's COVID 2020, and you've spent more time with your spouse than ever, and stuff has come up that you didn't know was going to come up. I mean, there's a couple in Idaho where it's been better for them to spend more time, but other than that it's been really, really rough. But look, some stuff that you are in that marriage has come to the surface, and maybe because it becomes a blessing, because then you say, let's go to this thing.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, I don't know of anybody that's been disappointed. Now, I'm sure somebody's out there who was disappointed, but I don't think you're going to be disappointed. And speaking of not being disappointed, never disappointed in Dr. Jill Hubbard. Hey, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
We're good.
Yeah, and we were just talking about the marriage intensive.
I know. I
here.
heard. Yeah, and your experiment on those poor people that were your guinea pigs.
It wasn't an experiment. It was a test market.
Well, on the second group, we had a final thing with all the therapists, and I remember saying, well, let me just share with you my last time I'm ever going to do this, because it was really emotionally draining. Like,
yeah,
Steve. But
Steve, the therapists work hard.
They do work hard.
Yeah.
And I was just going to clarify that for those of you who are listening who are thinking, I don't want to go to that intimacy and marriage. It's going to be too hard. No. The therapists are the ones that are working hard.
Yeah.
We did it.
You're going to learn things in that workshop that you just never even had any idea was driving the train.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so amazing when we see those couples that the lights go on. They're like, oh my gosh, I never thought about it that way before.
No.
Never knew that thing from way back then is still operating in the present. And they find out how to be intimate in a healthy, connective way, and it can help everything, especially if you're staying at home, working and all the things.
Well, let me just encourage you to do something, which is hard to do. What is the fatal excuse that keeps your marriage at whatever level that it's at when it could be so much better? And, for some people, the big lie is, oh, we're good, and you're not good. But we can help you change all that if you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Saturday the 24th, Intimacy in Marriage Intensive.
And that could make 2020 turn out to be the best year ever.
Absolutely. I remember Rob
and that would be a miracle.
It would be a miracle.
It would be divine intervention.
Rob and Renee King kind of pushed us over the edge there to put this together, and I'm so grateful that they did. 1-800-229-3000 is the phone number. We'd love to have you right here. 1-800-229-3000. Come join us for New Life Live.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, October 24th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship, and then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. New life. That's what we are asking people. If you have, do you need a new one? Do you need something new in your life? And I'm going to tell you something. If 2020 was difficult for some people, it's nothing compared to 2021 because life goes on. It's a fallen world. We have difficulties. So get yourself in shape because you could have depleted every bit of reserve with all that it's been here in 2020. But right now, we're going to go to the phones. And let's talk with Cole. Cole is calling us all the way from, where are you calling from, Cole?
Mechanicsville, Virginia.
Awesome. WAVA is the station. How can we help you today?
Well, I just told them before that 2 months ago, after 35 years in the car business as a finance manager, I just felt compelled to leave that job. And my friends didn't know why. Nobody understood why. And 2 months went by. I didn't even know why. And I watched I Can Only Imagine, and I Still Believe. And I just went straight to my knees and just repented and asked the Lord for forgiveness. And since then, I've changed my Facebook to Christians and outreach and helping the broken. But I'm getting a lot of arrows shot at me, and I'm staying the course, but it's tough, you know, and I just try to keep moving forward every day.
What kind of arrow is being shot at you? What's the arrow? What's that about?
Rejection, hatred, and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that I was waiting for you to say in all of that was about connection. Like in the midst of all these things you're changing and doing, what have you done about connecting with other men?
Well, I changed my Facebook page from the
wrong answer.
Friends and,
wrong answer. That's a wrong answer.
Okay, I'm sorry. Look, I've
gotta,
accepted a lot of men who are sharing with me and praying with me and that sort of thing.
Okay. Now I'll tell you, 4 months ago, I would have said, "Good, you're finding a way here in the midst of this pandemic," but people are getting back together safely, face to face, and I'm just going to suggest that you consider that as part of what you need to do. But before we go on, what is the specific question that you had for us?
I mean, how do you just stay the course every day and keep moving forward?
Yeah.
Well, Cole, the great thing is that you made the decision. That's an amazing decision to make, and you are in the early stages of a faith walk. It's amazing. You're going to need help. You're going to need people who are further down the path than you are. And I don't know if you're part of a church community, and just like Steve said, getting together with people, that's good, but also a plan. everything from Bible study to, connecting with somebody just as a friend who's further down the road in their faith journey. It's all part of it. And it, it takes a lifetime. It's not going to be done really quickly. You're making a big transition from a life that you led before. And it's gonna take some time. It's worth doing. It's worth doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cole, whenever you make a major change in life, there is some fallout, even when it's a change for the better. And I imagine that a lot of your relationships prior to, it sounds like they weren't necessarily based on your faith. And so as you move towards faith, these old relationships they're not going to be happy about that, right? They know the old Cole, and so the new Cole is not what they signed up for in relationship. And it may not fit with their value system or, your newfound faith or, adherence to it might feel convicting for them even. And so it's kind of like they're rejecting Christ in you. And you have to see that that is part of where God is refining some things in your life and weeding out some of the old. Now, it doesn't mean you have to get rid of everything old, but those relationships are going to shift, and you should expect that. And that's why it is so important what Steve and Becky are saying about coming alongside with other people. Like, even as you were making this change in your job and all of that, I would have loved it if you had a group of men that you could have run that by and talked it through with them, because that's what we need. As we're moving through and staying the course, it's a day by day where we stay in relationship with the Lord and we stay in relationship with trusted people in our lives.
And so I'm going to encourage you to do what I do. I did it last week right here at the office. I did marriage counseling with my wife and our marriage counselor virtually, but I was in the office of my new friend. He's my new therapist. I pay him to be my friend, and I pay him to have my best interest, not his, in mind. And I pay him to share with me what he sees and feels and discern, and it's a bargain. And so, Cole, how about that? How about a male therapist that could help you see some stuff? It would just make it better for you. It would give you hope and you deal with some of that discouragement. What about that?
Yeah, that sounds great. And let me just share that I got saved at the age of 20, and then I turned my back on God and just chased everything but God. And, the calling I had on my life, and now, I'm answering that call, and, I'm committed. So, yeah, seeing a male therapist I think would be great for me to get some guidance and direction. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Cole. Are you married? Do you have a family?
I have a beautiful son that's Christian, that's 26, and I have a former wife that has also turned her life over to God and is full of Jesus. And all that's come back. It's amazing. The Lord is restoring what the cankerworm stole a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. Well, look, I'm going to send you something that's really going to be, you're going to love this Bible. It's Every Man's Bible, best-selling men's study Bible. And I say this all the time, but women say to me, he never read the Bible till he got that Bible. I'm going to send it to you. Also, I'll send you Take Your Life Back, because that's a great little manual on how to redo some things. So, Cole, what we're saying is maybe a male counselor, definitely not just connecting with guys superficially online, but having some deep, deep connection with some guys. If you have to do it online, just go deep with them. Tell them where you are. But if you could get face-to-face with some guys sooner or later, hopefully sooner, I think that would be a big help too. All right? Really glad that you called. I hope that was helpful to you. Anybody else, if you want an Every Man's Bible, you can get it by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And we love people when they decide to get that Bible. And I think we sell them about as cheap as you can get them anywhere. in a gift of any amount, by the way, we will send you our new calendar, 2021 calendar. And unlike the calendar that I got, 2020, every date it was it had gray in it and stuff. This one, it's all white. All the boxes are white. We're looking for good stuff. A little yellow thrown in there for sunshine. It's going to be a new year.
Very hopeful calendar.
Very, very hopeful. That's right. All right. Let's go. How about we talk with Carol from Stanton, California. I don't know why I'm reaching over here. I never do that, but I did today. Carol, Stanton, California. Oh, the great station, KKLA. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. My question is, I'm stable now. Psychiatrically, I'm stable. I've got a good life. I'm 78. I'm in a skilled nursing facility, but I've lost my faith, and I've kind of intimacy with God. I've lost that.
Now, let me just do a little dissection here, and Jill and Becky can interrupt anytime. So right now, do you believe that there is a God in heaven or not?
Yes.
You do believe that? And
yes.
Okay, so it's not that you don't believe there's a God, it's just that you used to be really feeling God's presence and now it feels very distant, or what?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very thankful. He's done wonderful things for me. Every day I'm thankful.
Okay.
But I'm not intimate with him.
Carol, did something happen where this shift occurred?
Not that I know of it, no. Except maybe this COVID thing, and we have to eat our meals in our rooms now, and we don't have church services as of this week or as of last week because we've had 3 people with COVID. And,
well, Carol, I'm just wondering. I mean, you're not having services. You're not able to connect with other people. So often we get drained emotionally in our isolation, and that impacts kind of our spiritual strength sometimes. And then other times, we're out there by ourselves, or it feels like it, and that could be on purpose because God wants us to grow even, at 78 years old.
I was thinking of the passage that says where 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, that he is there among them. And I think, Carol, that this is where this is happening for you, that it is very powerful to be disconnected. I think everyone is feeling this right now.
Yeah.
It's a big challenge. And even when we are together, we are wearing masks most of the time. And so that changes the way we interact. Yeah, and it really does affect our psyche. It really does, and our spiritual walk.
Right.
And go ahead, Jill.
Well, and going to church and being together as a body, that's like spiritual food and encouragement and nurturing and all the things that help to, motivate and sustain us through the week. And Carol, I think, if I were in your shoes, I would be feeling depressed, right? Because we get...
I've gotten...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well,
I've gotten beyond that.
Okay.
The depression, but
Okay.
Yeah. So we get a lot of aliveness from other people, and it actually, our brains are helped by the interaction with others.
Right.
And so, we get good feelings and all of those things that help us to feel connected. And God did not create us to be alone. That was never his intent.
No. And, I suffered from pretty severe depression from college and a lot of my life. And I know this, and I don't know if it applies to you, but when the depression is treated with medication, other emotions sometimes get stunted, you could say, and so you don't feel the depression, but you also sometimes you don't feel the upside either. And now you combine a medication's impact with you're not really feeling the upside emotions, and then you're not connected, and what you can end up feeling is everything crummy, even though you're not depressed. And so we interpret that as God is not with me or near me. And I want you to try to find some ways to connect with other people, either by
just like you're doing now.
Yeah,
we love that you called.
Absolutely. And you connect with them by phone or on an iPad or whatever. Connect, and see if you can't get out of these doldrums. We'll take a break. We'll come right back for more of New Life Live.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, a physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, November 14th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. Becky Brown, Dr. Jill Hubbard, your phone calls. We're talking with Carol, who is not feeling the presence of the Lord. Just a tribute to my mom, Carol. She has been going through so much pain in her back recently. And one day she said to me, yesterday I just didn't feel the presence of the Lord. Well, I got to tell you, that's the kind of faith she has, that every day but one day she is in the presence of the Lord.
Right.
And so I know this is tough for you. Let's see what Becky and Jill have to say that might encourage you or help you with some stuff.
So, Carol, we're so glad that you called, like Jill said. And one of the things that is so important in these times when we're feeling distant from the Lord is to recognize He's not gone anywhere. And so we have to have practices in place that draw us closer to Him. Now, across the country, across the world, our corporate worship has changed dramatically. And you remember going to church and how incredible that experience was. You worship together, you sing together, you pray together, you hear a sermon, and you just feel filled up. And while you can't do that particular thing, you could watch a sermon, but you could also spend time listening to worship music. I think about King David before he was a king and out in the fields as a shepherd, drawing to the Lord. And many of the Psalms are his his interaction with God. It's just the way that he worshiped. And it's hard when you don't feel it, but in order to feel it, you have to practice it. There has to be some sort of rhythm that you begin while recognizing this is, I was actually thinking of the term spiritually depressed as opposed to mentally depressed.
Yes.
You know, and I think a lot of people are dealing with that.
Yeah. You know, and times when I've been in that position, Carol, when I felt desperate, that's when I just go towards anything I can get my hands on that can, you know, feed me spiritually. Listening to the radio like you're doing, listening to sermons, reading books, calling Christian friends, just really trying to immerse myself in the things of the Lord when I'm feeling that spiritual depression and really down or disconnected.
Now, I just want to say one more thing here. For God to move, you have to have a certain amount of faith. And you said you lost your faith, but you still believe there is a God. And the amount of faith that you need is just a little tiny, tiny bit. And I'm hearing a little tiny bit of faith left because you said, yes, there is a God. So just take that little faith. We're going to send you
100 days of prayer.
100 days of prayer that will lead you through literally 100 days. And I'm going to send you Healing is a Choice. And in the back of that is an affirmation. It's about 3 pages long. And I've asked people to send me an email. My email's in there. If you do this for 30 days or 60 or 100 days, I have had so many people send me an email saying, man, did that ever change the way I was thinking all day long. So I'm going to send that to you. And hold on, let's see, maybe the call screener can tell you about maybe a church, or we can find a church in your area, a lot of them, that might make a call over there to where you're staying. And I would really hope that this is the beginning of a different way of living.
You know, one of the things that has been pretty impactful in my life in the last couple of months has been, how do we experience the presence of God?
Yeah.
And because of all of the routines that have changed, where we thought that's how we practice the presence of God, we had to find a new way to do that. And so, Carol, I don't think you're alone in this. And I just want to encourage anybody in the audience, if you're struggling with feeling a connection, whether it's because you can't go to church now, or you have really gotten disconnected from your faith family, there's hope. There's ways to connect with God. And, you know, maybe it's just turn on that worship music for a while and just focus on what God is saying to you. He does love you, and he wants a relationship with you.
And, you know, I know when we talk about, these times with the COVID virus, some of you are thinking, hey, that is not my problem. We lost a child, or my father died, or something like that. That's what we're dealing with. Hey, I get it. But it's on top of this emotionally draining reality that we've got here. Let's go now. Let's talk with, how about line 3? We can talk on line 3 to Nicole from Tampa, Florida, and she listens on Sirius XM. I'm glad she does. How are you today, Nicole?
Hello, how are you all?
Excellent.
I am looking for, great. I'm looking for a desperate sort of suggestion. I need to know how much a child is affected by narcissistic abuse, the rage, the violence. Have a boy, he's just 6 years old. His father was very violent, you know, in every sense of the word, and abusive. And he's really been impacted because this has occurred all of his life. And now we're going through this divorce, and he's got this mindset that he's got peace now. But I want to know how much it impacts him in his educational experience. He's struggling there.
We'll help you with that. You hear the music, you hang on, and we're going to talk with you right after this break. You're listening to New Life Live, gift of any amount. I'll send you a calendar. You'll love it. Big ship right on the front. I love ships. You got pictures of ships all over the office where I spilled paint over all things. Hey, Restore's coming up November 14th. Restore for a Woman's Heart. Yeah, coming up.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly wrong? It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and it is, if you want to join us for this program, and we'll do one right after this, in the studio here for 2 hours, and Nicole we're talking to in Tampa. But if you want to call us, 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. As I said, another hour and a half. We're in the studio. Dr. Jill Hubbard, she's the author of Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers, and Becky Brown, soon to be, well, you have the co-author of
What?
Understanding and Loving.
Oh, I was like, what are we asking
Understanding and Loving.
Yes, and I just finished another one. So
Special needs, and it's going to be great.
No, bipolar
Becky.
disorder.
Exactly, the special need of bipolar disorder. All right, so Nicole, let's start with you, Jill, and the main question is, how much is this going to impact the 6-year-old boy?
Okay, well, Nicole, these are very difficult situations, and that's why you're calling us. And, you know, it's hard to predict how one will be impacted, but we do know that everything, positive or negative, in a child's life does have an impact, right? So children, depending on who they are, you know, what they come into the world with, and then what happens to them, life is shaped for them. So one of the things we know, though, that, you know, we parents, you know, God put us in their lives, and we get to be their first therapists. So in the face of having a parent that is, you know, destructive in a kid's life, while you can't completely compensate for that, you can offer a contrast. You can be that loving parent that lets him have his feelings and is there to offer comfort and support. One of the hardest things, I think, in being a parent is that we cannot prevent every negative thing in life that we would like to prevent from happening to our children. But where we can make a huge difference is how we respond to the traumas that do happen. And when we talk about it, I always cringe when I hear parents say, well, I don't want to bring it up because I don't want to upset him. No. They're thinking about it. You want to be able to talk about things and to have your child know that you are a safe person where he can talk about everything and that you will give him room to share his feelings. And sometimes, it's just being a mom that holds their boy while they cry, right? And validates his experience. Because what we don't want to do is also, give him non-reality, right? Let him, have his experience. And in situations like this and where parents are separating, children don't get a buffer as much as they do when parents are together, right? And so he has to face the reality of who his dad is sooner than he might if you guys stayed married.
Okay, and I just shudder to think of what it must have been like to be in the presence of a father like that.
Yeah.
It makes the whole world unsafe.
Yeah.
Misty says, I'm her post. And that's what a dad is
yeah.
to a little boy. He's your post. You can go back there. It's going to be there. Going to be strong. May not have a lot of words to say, post don't, but it's there. All right, so
well, and I want to say, Nicole, I hope that you hear that you need the support to do what Jill is talking about. If you haven't already entered into a healing process with a counselor, it would be, today is the day. You need to make that call. There's going to be healing that you're going to have to go through because of being in this experience. But also, mother guilt is a real thing, whether this kind of situation occurs or not. And that you're going to have some times of healing, but also some times of struggle, especially because he's going to continue having a relationship with his dad on some level. And it's going to be really important for you to have that healing process in place.
Sorry that he won't. His father isn't, really interested, but, I understand the rights and things of that nature, but he's just not interested.
Okay. Well, but here's the bigger picture, though, Nicole. Whether or not he's actually in the presence with the dad, he has a relationship. It's what you do with, when they have a school day where it's like, oh, we're going to celebrate fathers today. Well, your son has to deal with his relationship, whatever that relationship is.
That's right.
So
every year when they make you make that poster, right, of this is my family, and when you're in a broken family, that is
so
always
even
hard
if he
on
doesn't
kids.
see him in person, he's dealing with that relationship, and that's why I'm saying your work, your healing process will give him the space to talk about that kind of stuff, so that he can process it, understand it, and move through his life. And if he does interact, because his dad could change. Who knows?
Well, and a lot of times men that are more narcissistic want to deal with more of an adult. They don't like dealing with children. So you might find that he comes back around. So I think it's also important, always to have other men in his life that he can relate to and have some of that aggressive energy with. Did you want to say something?
In the room talking.
When you said about the picture that you draw, I was thinking, you really do need to bring a man in that would be almost like a godfather. Not that,
or an uncle,
grandfather, uncle.
And so that when he does draw that picture, there's a man to draw in there, and this isn't. He could say, "This is my real father," but hey, this guy, he's amazing, and so. I hope that you will bring men into his life. Here's what we see here over the years is the father was a jerk, divorced the mother, and the kids can't stand the mother. And then they go live with the dad and his girlfriend. Why is that? Because we didn't help them get over it and get through it and get beyond it. And that's the way you prevent
and it's also, sorry, Jill. Well, it's also because he's safe with you.
Yeah.
So he could be mad at the mom.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the dad becomes this knight in shining armor.
Well, and part of it, what children do in order to preserve the goodness in a parent, because they need that parent, they make themselves bad. So you need to be listening for that. right?
Yeah.
That's important too.
And what 6-year-old in the face of divorce hasn't at some level thought, this is my fault?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got to deal with that. I'm going to send you Understanding and Loving. Well, I wish I had understanding and going through a divorce with a narcissist, but I don't. But this is Understanding and Loving a Narcissist. I think it's going to help you, because even if he walks out of your life, he needs to be in your life. He needs to be supporting the child. You need to have a good attorney to make sure that happens. All right, 1-800-229-3000. Denise called us earlier. I want to go to her. Hi, Denise. You're listening to New Life Live. Hey, Denise. You know, I'm almost. Can you just hold on a second, because Larry Sonnenberg's walked into the studio, and he can be really, impatient. So hold on. We'll get to you right here in a minute. Larry, how you doing?
Doing good, thank you. I'll try to be quick here. We still have a matching gift possibility, $5,000. Please, just to call and say you'd like to be a part of getting to that matching challenge. We're approaching $1,000 match. We're not quite there yet. We need to get to $5,000. If you join Club New Life, your first gift will be considered part of the match. So you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because we need your support ongoing as a Club New Life member, but we also need individual gifts. So whatever you can do to help us, thank you. Here's why I want you to help us. We have this intimacy and marriage workshop coming up a week from Saturday. And let me read what somebody wrote who attended a recent one. Her husband's name is Mike. Mike and I have gone through a lot in our marriage. We fell in love like crazy 25 years ago, and through jobs, children, health issues, addiction, we found this conference. And for the first time ever, we started talking with each other. It's so scary to really see the brokenness in me and Mike and how fragile we are, and to see how reckless we have been to each other. I'm forever changed. I will never be able to see my husband the same. I have new eyes, ears, and heart for God and him in our marriage.
Amen.
So
that's what we
folks, sign up for that. It's one day. There's no big hurdles to overcome. You don't have to pay for airfare, a hotel room. Just sign up and come. You'll be glad you did.
So I've been calling some of our supporters. I love to do that, just to say thank you, how you're doing, checking in with them. And when I call to thank them, well, they're thanking me. Thank you for this thing. Yeah. And so often it's nothing more than we found the right counselor for them. So don't just struggle alone. Let us help you. And if you've been helped, if you could help us, be the 1 out of 10 lepers, Becky and I were talking earlier, that does something out of gratitude, and help us help others if we've helped you. Mm-hmm. That's the challenge. And if you can't do it, we're going to be praying for you. And we don't want you to give us something that you need to survive. So we're not unrealistic. But God loves you, cares about you, and when God opens that door of generosity, you benefit, and so do we, and so does somebody else who gets help. We'll be back after this. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and so often we hear people saying, I know I need something, but I don't know what it is. Well, we've put together the perfect experience for you. It's called Brains, Boundaries, Battles, and the Bible. You're going to hear Dr. Daniel Amen, Dr. Henry Cloud, Dr. John Townsend, Sheila Walsh, and myself, Steve Arterburn.
In this online workshop, you'll participate in general sessions, then break out into groups. These groups, facilitated by licensed Christian counselors, are where true life change happens. You'll take what you've heard in the main sessions and begin to process the areas of your mind and emotions that have kept you stuck. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Please consider joining us December the 5th for Brains, Boundaries, Battles, and the Bible.
Register today to begin experiencing life in a new way. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We're going to go right back here to Denise. By the way, 1-800-229-3000. Denise, how could we help you today?
Yes, good afternoon. This is
Hi.
Denise.
Thanks for calling us.
Yes, I have a question, and I'm not sure if this is considered unfaithful to the marriage, but I saw a text, said goodnight on my husband's phone. I was passing him his phone, and just passing, and I said, oh, who's this? It was the last Friday of August, and it was 10:30 p.m. Oh, that's a cousin. And I said, oh, well, I don't see anything else in the thread. They're just texting goodnight. Who's this? Oh, Aunt Lisa's daughter. I'm not familiar with this name. You don't know her. So I said, okay. Well, she's just texting goodnight. There's nothing else there. Troubled me. So a few minutes later, he took his phone and got protective, very protective. Make a long story short, he said he had to pay a bill. But then a few minutes later, I said, something's troubling me. Can I see your phone again? I don't look through his phone. I don't look through anything. But I was curious of something not settling right. And then it said goodnight, cuz 5 minutes later. I said, now, why would she go back and say that? Oh, I didn't want any confusion, so I texted her and then I deleted what I sent her. I said, well, that's causing confusion.
All right.
We went to go to sleep about 2 hours later.
Denise.
And the Holy Spirit told me, yeah, he's lying.
Mm-hmm.
And I confronted him. I said, this isn't your cousin. And about 2 hours later, he got up out of sleep. She's like a cousin, a friend of the family. And for 5 weeks, just lies. And
okay, what's the question for us, Denise, after really, really a tough time? Well, you said, I think, before you told the story, if it is truly being unfaithful, right?
No, lying about who this person was, and then I found out 5 weeks later he was being unfaithful.
Yeah.
So
what is the question for us then? What's the question for us?
What happens if I never get the truth? For 5 weeks, he just keeps, now this person is this. No, I didn't do this. I didn't approach her in the store. She approached me, and now I come to find out he asked her for her number. He asked her to come over.
Yeah.
You know,
Denise, that is the truth.
That's what cheaters do.
Right. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You know the truth.
And I had to get the truth. Yeah, and I had to get the truth from somewhere else. So
Well,
Saturday,
of course.
2 weeks ago, I confronted him. I said, I asked him, where does she work? Well, long story short, I gave him another chance to tell the truth. He in my face and on the phone lied. I packed everything up while he was at work. I packed everything up that I could and sent it outside. He's since collected it. We have three children, 2 his. And he hasn't really said much. He took all of his things. He didn't put up a fight or anything or say anything besides one text 8 days later how the 2-year-old was doing.
All right, so here's the thing.
What do I do now?
Yeah. Well, I think you putting the stuff out said, I'm not going to put up with this. That's one thing. Second thing is, I would not be pursuing a full confession. He needs to get some help if he wants to save the marriage. He may not want to save the marriage, but he may want to still be a father to his children. I don't know. That's a possibility there. But really, I would be thinking of what you could say to him that would be the path back into the home so that, he knows I can come in I can come back if certain things happen. Like he should go to every man's battle and get that lust thing taken care of. And he needs to join a men's group so that he's got support.
Denise, is he asking to come back? You just mentioned that he just checked after, 8 days on the status of the youngest child?
Yeah, he called to check on her, and I said, hey, she's fine. She's 2. 1 and 2-year-olds really don't, know what's going on. They're fine. I was like, well, shouldn't we be having some type of conversation, even if it's a response? Oh, yeah, I have to talk to you. I said, well, when you get it, let's set up a time for in person. And then that was yesterday. He was like, oh, it's raining. He's picked up a second job. I got to go to my second job. Can we talk tomorrow? Yeah. And I said, no, we're going to sit down and talk. However, this is the thing. What do I do in the sense of if I require counseling, but also he was asking this young lady for money and loans.
Okay,
and she said,
Denise, I would say this. Sad that he's in trouble financially because you're going to need him to pay child support. And often that doesn't happen until you get an attorney. And that costs if you can't find somebody to help you there. But look, here's what we know about affairs. They, sometimes people get married, they have an affair, and then they divorce later. Rarely. Sometimes we have known it to work out. I mean, they stay together. But most likely, the more she gets to know him, the less she wants of him. Because, see, he's an unfaithful man. That you don't have character, and even though she doesn't have character, usually it wears off. So what I'm saying is, if he doesn't want to be any part of you, you just say to him, when you're ready, here's what you need to do to come back and be the father that these children need. You go to every man's battle, you get in a men's group, and then we can talk about you coming back home.
There's a concern I have, Denise, for your financial stability and security. And so I know that we're not directing you to divorce, but protection is important, especially when somebody is needing more money, is not being accountable to his family. Those are some huge red flags.
Right. He's being very evasive.
Yes. And it just would be a good next step for you.
It sure would. Okay, so I'm going to send you a book to send him, and it's called Worthy of Her Trust. You send that to him. And for you, I want to send you Take Your Life Back. I'll send you Kirby McCook and the Jesus Chronicles for the kids. And I just hope and pray something we've said is going to prove to be helpful as you deal with this.
And I would encourage you to go to Restore. Our workshop is going to be online in about a month, I think.
Yeah.
And we have scholarships available, but it would just be a great way for you to get kind of a plan how to move forward.
It sure would. And so maybe we can help you get to that. Any woman who has been hurt by a father who was unfaithful, a husband who was unfaithful, sometimes even a brother can really traumatize us in some of the things that happen. But if you, especially your husband, has betrayed you and you've experienced this horrific disappointment, abandonment, whatever, we can help you at Restore. And that's going to be November the 14th. And I hope that you will come and be part of that. And, of course, we mentioned Intimacy and Marriage Intensive. Wherever you are will help you get better. Even if you're at the end, you have nothing. I've seen couples literally say nothing, feel nothing. They feel something before it's over. And then others, wow, we thought we had a pretty good marriage, but now we're really doing some things we didn't count on. All right, let me just mention to you this, that at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday is the show Life Recovery Today with Steve Arterburn, and talking about life recovery there, and I hope you'll join me. And then kind of a weird thing. Every year we try to do a trip with our folks, and we cancel things because of COVID, but we think everything's going to be back in order about a year from now. And the cruise that we're going to do with our supporters and listeners is the Rhine River. And I think we start in Amsterdam, and then we end in
Basel, Switzerland.
Yeah, Basel, and you know, I love Basel on pasta. It's amazing. So Think about that. What a time. We love having people on these trips. But call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, whatever you need. Let us have a chance to help you. 1-800-229-3000 to join us on the next program that we're going to do right now, and you can watch it on Facebook Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.